Hello, good afternoon. This afternoon, I wanted to just give a little bit of an experience about how to use ChatGPT. One of the things that people talk about with ChatGPT is that they're afraid it's, like I was saying, kids build relationships with chat robots, and that it's not real, it's all fake. And the truth is that it's not a person. It's never going to replace being a person. But what the internet is, and especially through AI, is this huge reflective ability to use all the content on the internet and include in it your own input, so that you can really gain a fast access to a lot of information that can help you think through problems and issues. So I'm just going to run just a short demonstration of how I use it as a reflective journal. So I've got a prompt I'm going to put in here. And what this prompt says is, okay, I'm telling the ChatGPT what I want it to do. And I'm saying, I say, act as a reflective journal, not as an advisor or authority. Your role is to help me hear my own thinking more clearly. Do not tell me what to do. Instead, reflect back the themes you notice in what I say. Name tensions, patterns, or contradictions gently. Ask 1 to 2 clarifying questions that help me think deeper, and offer neutral observations that help with awareness, not direction. Here's what I want to focus on today. So I came up with this topic for today, and it's a little long, but it's related to what we're talking about. So I'm going to put in here what it is that I want to reflect on. So what this says is, whenever I start something new, I always run into resistance. Sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's other people in my life or other life circumstances that stop me or have me doubt myself. What's the best way to stay conscious of where I'm going and recognize resistance is a natural occurrence and should be expected and recognized as a sign that I am moving forward, and that the resistance actually reveals the steps I need to take now, so that I have the insight and courage to stay in action no matter what. And this is like doing these live broadcasts. So I'm going to go ahead and ask, and then it's going to come back and give me some feedback. Here's where I'm hearing reflected back to you. You're noticing a recurring pattern. The moment you begin something new, resistance appears. It doesn't arrive in a single form, it shifts. Sometimes it shows up as money pressure, sometimes through other people, sometimes through circumstances that create doubt. The form changes, but the timing is consistent. There's a tension between two ways of understanding resistance. On one hand, it feels like something that stops you or pulls you off course. On the other, you're already sensing that it may be a signal, evidence that movement is happening, that something meaningful has been initiated. You're holding two ideas at once: resistance as an obstacle that questions your direction, resistance as information that reveals what's next and tests your commitment. Rather than wanting resistance to disappear, you seem to be exploring how to stay conscious while it's happening, how to not collapse into doubt or freeze, but also not override what the resistance is trying to show you. There's also an underlying desire for continuity of self, staying connected to where you're going, even when external or internal forces try to pull attention away from that trajectory. A subtle pattern I notice is that resistance appears to arrive after clarity, not before it, almost as if clarity itself triggers the counterforce. 2 gentle questions for reflection. When resistance shows up, what part of you interprets it as danger, and what part of you interprets it as confirmation? If resistance were simply data, what would it be telling you about the edge you're standing on right now? A neutral observation to sit with. You're not questioning whether resistance exists, you're questioning how you relate to it. That suggests the struggle isn't about stopping resistance, but about maintaining awareness while moving through it. If you want, you can share a recent moment where resistance appeared, and we can reflect on how it spoke without trying to fix or solve it. Okay, so I'm going to say, I felt resistance about doing this StreamYard broadcast. And doubts that I'm prepared enough. How should I deal? The nice thing about it is you don't have to spell right. How should I deal with these thoughts that usually have me give up before I start? And always have me putting things off until tomorrow. All right, so let's see what it says. The resistance shows up before you begin, not after you're already in motion. It takes a specific shade of I'm not prepared enough, and that thought seems to carry a lot of authority. It's persuasive enough to stop action entirely. What follows is a familiar outcome postponement, tomorrow delay. There's a pattern sequence here, an intention to show up, a doubt framed as responsibility or readiness, a retreat that looks reasonable, even protective, and then the cost is not starting at all. What's interesting is that the doubt isn't saying this is meaningless, it's saying this matters too much to do imperfectly. That suggests a tension between wanting integrity and wanting movement. I also notice a contradiction you're already aware of. You recognize resistance as a sign of forward motion, yet in the moment, the resistance still has enough weight to pause you. Awareness exists, but it arrives slightly after the hesitation, not before it. Another subtle theme, the thought I'm not prepared enough, seems less about information and more about permission to begin without certainty. 2 questions to deepen your reflection. When the thought I'm not prepared enough appears, what emotion is underneath it? Fear, self-protection, responsibility, or something else? If you didn't argue with the thought at all, what would simply noticing it as an event, not a truth changing about how it feels? A neutral observation to hold. The resistance doesn't seem to be trying to stop you forever. It seems to be trying to stop this version of starting. That distinction may matter. If you want, you can describe what prepared enough actually means in your body or mind when that thought shows up. We can listen to that without judging it. Okay, so it's an underlying lifelong belief that I'm not good enough and that people will make fun of me or criticize me for what I'm trying. Okay. At the core of the resistance isn't the strain, the technology, or preparation. It's a much older belief that predates this moment. The thought I'm not good enough isn't situational. It feels identity level, something you've carried for a long time. The live broadcast simply activates it. There's a consistent anticipation of being seen and judged, not just noticed, but evaluated, possibly mocked or criticized. That suggestion, the resistance isn't about failure as much as exposure. Going live equals becoming visible, and visibility triggers the belief. I also notice a tension between time frames. Your present self wants to express, share, and move forward. Our younger protective part seems to step in saying, visibility is unsafe, let's avoid that. The belief doesn't sound loud or dramatic, it sounds familiar, almost automatic. That familiarity may be why it feels convincing, or even when another part of you knows it isn't the whole truth. A gentle pattern I notice. The resistant frames itself as realism or humility, but its emotional charge suggests it's more about belonging and safety than accuracy. Two clarifying questions to sit with. When you imagine people making fun of you, whose faces or voices come to mind? Specific people or a general audience? If this belief had a job or purpose earlier in your life, what might it have been trying to protect you from? A neutral observation for awareness. The fear isn't stopping you because you doubt your message. It's stopping you because you care about being received. That says something about the value you place on connection. If you want to continue, we can gently trace how this belief learned to speak so convincingly without trying to dismantle it or replace it. So that is the way that the pattern works. And I wanted to encourage you to try this out for yourself. If you have a particular situation, whether it's a relationship issue or something at your job or a project you're trying to develop, get in and play around with it. And don't be afraid to have it act like a counselor almost. But just remember, it's not a person, it's a machine, but it has access to all the data in the universe. And over time, as you continue having these conversations, it will remember you. It will remember what you've said in the past, and it will remind you of things. I do this every night when I reflect on what I did for the day. I said, today I did this, today I failed at that, and what does that say about me? And it'll give me a lot of great ideas about how to perceive myself and how to perceive what's next. So AI seems frightening to a lot of people, but it's actually a really amazing tool for processing information and can work as a real great tool for doing reflective journaling. So I hope this has been helpful to you, and give me a comment. Let me know if you've ever used it like this and how it will work or has worked for you.